Macca's Guides.
Hey everyone, Macca here. Welcome to my 100% full game walkthrough for Doom the Dark Ages, where I'll be taking you through all 22 missions and making sure we grab everything along the way. This includes things like all of the secret locations, where you'll be able to find things like collectible demon toys, Codex lore pages, and weapon skins. I'll also show you all of the gold and rubies, which are currencies you'll use to upgrade your character and weapons. I'll show you all of the demonic essence upgrades, all of the shield and melee weapon upgrades, all of the mission challenges for each mission, and we'll also be making sure to complete all of the weapon masteries as we play. The goal is to help you through the campaign, and by the end, we'll both have the full completion. For the purposes of the walkthrough, I am playing on the Hurt Me Plenty difficulty, which kind of is the baseline normal difficulty, but you're free to play on something else, and there's also a lot of options in the in-game menu to fine-tune your settings, either the parry window, the amount of damage you take, and you can even change the game speed if it's too fast or too slow for you. We're just going to hop kind of right into the gameplay. Obviously, move with your left stick, aim with your right stick. You can sprint in this game by clicking in the left stick. You do have a shield on your left trigger. You can use that shield to block incoming attacks. You can also do a shield charge by holding your shield and then locking onto an enemy and using the right trigger to basically dash forward into them. The further you are, the more damage it will do. You can also press the left bumper to throw your shield, which can take out enemies at a distance, and it can kind of pinball between enemies as we play through the game and get more upgrades. You'll also see green attacks coming up, and green attacks are parryable with the shield. You have to press the shield block button as that attack hits you. You'll have a bunch of little tutorial missions here as we get through. I believe we have to take care of 15 enemies, and there are wall scrambles in this game. Just jump at a wall with scratches on it, and you'll automatically climb up it. Another thing in this game is that if you're sprinting, you will jump further and higher, so make sure you sprint jump sometimes if you're not able to get the distance you need. Whenever you do approach a group of enemies, I would recommend doing a shield charge. It allows you to do a big area of effect attack that can take out a group pretty quickly, and you can also use your shield charge on certain environmental parts of the game in order to break through walls or find secrets. As you break through, we'll have a little bit of a bigger enemy, and we do have executions in this game in the place of glory kills. You will want to do these when possible, just to conserve a little bit of your ammo, as well as get some extra health back if you do need it. Now, many of you may have viewed my Doom 2016 or Doom Eternal walkthroughs, which I enjoyed creating. This game is obviously similar in some ways, but also pretty different. This game kind of focuses a lot more on slow movement and making you feel like a tank. So for those people who maybe didn't like Eternal because it felt a little too fast and Twitch shooty, this game might be a little bit of a welcome change. There will be moments where you enter small arenas like this, and the doors will often close around you. All you need to do is take care of all of the enemies in order to open up the doors, and then we'll just kind of follow through with a little bit of story development as we approach the next area.
We can't stay here!
Infant, double lock on the Slayer's location.
For the purposes of this walkthrough, I have decided to skip cutscenes when possible. This is just to cut down on the length of the videos and from feedback I've received from the viewers. Now, as you approach this kind of pod, you will get your new Power Gauntlet, which is just your ability to melee. This will add a new little UI element in the bottom right corner where you can store up to 3 melee charges, and these charges can be applied in a combo, and they're supposed to do devastating damage. They are often good ways to dispose of an enemy quickly. Using your melee attacks as you have them available is also recommended because this will allow you to drop ammo for all of the weapon types you have, so this is just going to help you not run out of ammo, and they can also lead to those executions we talked about earlier for extra health. We'll also have some fire damage later on in the game that lets us get armor, so this is why it's a pretty important mechanic to kind of interact with. Now, after you take out this little group of enemies, a bunch of openings will kind of happen. You will have a mission marker that points you into the room on your left, but there is a small room on the right if you want to grab a little bit of health. Now, instead of clambering up the, wall, there is a breakable wooden piece to your left, and this is our first secret area of the game. And inside it, you will find a life sigil, which you can have up to 3 of in your inventory at a time, and this is basically just an instant revive should you ever run out of health completely. It allows you to burn a life sigil instead of having to restart the checkpoint, So as long as you have one available, you are good. And if you run out of them, then you would have to restart the checkpoint. Additionally, you'll use your shield charge to get across a gap, and this icon in front of us is a point of no return. Often as I come to these, I'll show you what our counter is for the amount of secrets and collectibles we have in a mission. It's a pretty good point just to check up and make sure that things match before you move on to a point of no return, which is this area in front of us. You'll notice a large group of enemies. You'll have to take all of them out using some of the things we learned in these tutorials, and then you'll be able to see that a door is locked via a blue key. Keys obviously make a return as a Doom classic. There'll be blue keys, red keys, I think there's yellow keys, and there's also secret keys. I'll obviously make sure to show you every key you possibly could ever want or need. But for now, let's take care of all of the enemies, work on restoring some of your health, picking up items as you make your way across, getting familiar with the controls and the shield as well. Once you take care of all of the enemies, you'll notice the locked gate that needs a blue key. Your objective will update to find that key, and you'll have some objective markers in order to point you in the right direction. You may notice a couple of locked doors along the way that we will have to backtrack to, so don't worry about them. I'll make sure you find all of the secrets as we play. You'll have a couple of enemies spawn kind of directly in front of you as you come around the corner. Let's just practice some of the skills we've learned in order to take them out quickly. We do unlock a lot of abilities and a lot of really great weapon upgrades as we play through the game to make some of these enemies a lot more manageable later on. Once you do take care of those enemies, you'll notice that there's a breakable wall that you can get through, and as you get through it, you will fall down a hole. Just follow the hallways for a little bit until we do end up at the blue key. You will be hit by a Hell Surge, which is an attack that the environment can do, but also many enemies can do as well. And this is a parryable attack as long as it's green. It does involve a little bit of timing, raising your shield with the left trigger at the exact moment it's about to hit you. I have found that the parry window is very generous on the normal difficulty. I found that if I wanted to parry something, there was about a 99% chance I would hit that parry. If you're looking for a little bit more difficulty in the game, I think narrowing that parry window down up to the hard difficulty might make the game a little bit more enjoyable if you are a little bit of a more skilled player. You will have a little mini objective in order to parry all of the attacks before you can escape, and then you'll enter into an arena where you'll have a little bit of a boss battle. There will be some parryable attacks here, but the point of this boss battle is to basically teach you about glory strikes, which allows you to hit an enemy once they're kind of dazed and change that enemy in the way they function. So in this case, that means taking the rider off the back. In other cases, it might mean cutting the arm off to immobilize a weapon. But that's basically just a quick tutorial about the fact that some enemies can be glory interacted with, but it's not necessarily an immediate execution. Let's go ahead and go into the next room and pick up that blue key. There's a small little cutscene, which I don't think you can skip, but it's only a couple of seconds long. And then you should be able to shield dash or shield charge your way back to the blue door. Don't go through that blue gate yet. There's a collectible we missed that we can now only pick up once we have the blue key. So you'll be taught about the auto map, and on the auto map we can see that collectible just because of the proximity of how close we were to it. There's a lot of collectibles that will not show up on your auto map because they are so far away from the main path that you'll never see them unless you know exactly where to go. So in the earlier missions, there's a lot of easy ones like this toy that I just showed you where you could grab it now that we have the blue key. But if you're just kind of playing through the game, there's definitely a couple missions with a couple of really tricky collectibles you may not want to miss. So we have 2 out of 6 of the secrets in our auto map menu. In the bottom right hand corner, you can also see specifically which collectibles you have or don't have. Let's go ahead and now use our blue key to get through the blue gate and interact with some of the enemies and battles that happen in front of us. This right here is, I believe, a gore portal. I guess the game will call it a demonic portal. And there's going to be 4 of them. This is a kind of small introduction into the open world style of this game. there's kind of 4 objectives, and we can tackle them in any order, although this is a very small area of the map compared to some of the things we will do later. So in order to close a portal, all you'll need to do is basically defeat all of the enemies nearby. The most important thing is the large enemies. The kind of fodder type enemies will despawn if you take out the kind of major bosses. So work on the largest enemies, and once you take them all out, you should close your first portal here to get 1 out of 4. Now you can do them in any order you want. I'm going to be doing them clockwise, starting with the left. You'll also notice that there is a secret door in the middle of this area. We don't have that secret key just yet. So let's go ahead and go to the left, going clockwise. And here you'll notice that there are some shield enemies, and they are kind of annoying in this mission, but there will be ways to deal with them later on as we upgrade our character. So for now, I think my strategy, generally speaking, is just to kind of try to get around them and take them out with a weapon, as we don't have the ability to throw our shield just yet for the kind of gameplay that's going to happen with their shields later on. So let's take out this second demonic portal, and after we do this, I believe there are a couple of secrets we should be able to grab. So let's go ahead, and once that's done, it should close. And now let's continue to the kind of nearest objective point. And at the nearest objective point, we will have our 3rd out of 4 portals. But before we get there, through this hallway, you will get locked in. As I mentioned before, you will have to fight your way out of this hallway. I believe they want you to use your shield charge, as the enemies are very densely spawned. You can take out the vast majority of them with 1 or 2 attacks. And then as you defeat them, you will also open up a small new life sigil in that tunnel. You can grab it or not grab it. It's not really that important if you don't plan on dying too often. And then as you enter into this left area, I'll give you a quick overview on the auto map where we are. But you'll come in here and interact with another drop pod, and then this drop pod provides us with our second weapon of the game for now. This is the Shredder, which works similarly to kind of like a fully automatic machine gun. Your typical multi-utility, medium-range machine gun type weapon. Oftentimes in this game, when you are given a new weapon, the game is going to try to kind of make it more advantageous in the battle for you to use it. So when given a new weapon, we will use it most of the time. So we will take out all of the enemies. This actually won't close this portal, as this is just an introduction to the weapon we got. But if we're facing the portal, we can find a couple of collectibles as using that as our reference. I do wish at the top there was a compass with actual like cardinal directions. But if you kind of go towards the center, you'll notice that there's 2 cliffs that kind of meet each other. You can jump across, but instead of jumping across, we want to basically jump into this hole in the side of the cliff. And you will want to do a sprint jump, or else you won't make it. Now, once you make it in here, you won't be able to grab the collectible right away. A bunch of enemies will spawn. I would recommend letting them spawn and only blowing up the barrels once they are all there. As soon as you take them all out, go ahead and walk up to find a weapon skin. You'll be able to apply that in your inventory if you so desire. The weapon skins, to be honest, aren't that creative or unique or fun to get. They're pretty basic, but for now, it is what it is. Let's go ahead and follow the path back to that portal that we were at before. Using our mission marker, there's another secret we can grab. Instead of going to the right, go to the left of the portal to the cliff's edge and drop down. As you drop down, you'll find a ledge that is not immediately available on your map. And in here, you can find another secret area and another collectible. This is the Soldier Toy, as we bring that back from Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal. A lot of toys to collect. And then an enemy will spawn as you try to exit, which often happens in secret areas. Now we can climb back up the wall and head towards the 3rd portal. And as we get to that portal, we will take out all of the enemies in order to close it before I rejoin you with some commentary. After taking out our 3rd portal, again, you don't have to be doing them in the same order as me, so keep that in mind. You'll be able to now kind of get up on this cliff's edge, and you'll be able to grab the secret key, which was probably pretty obvious to you if you opened up your auto map or if you were just looking at kind of different areas of the game. But this is the only way to get that secret key. With the secret key, we can open up secret key areas. That should be pretty obvious. And we will go back to that secret key area. But for now, let's go ahead and take out the third portal. If we kind of follow the little cliff's edge, we will find a little launch pad, and that launch pad will take us to the fourth portal. Again, in my gameplay, you can be doing them in a different order technically. Take out all of the enemies to close the portal, and once we do that, there are a lot of things to grab before we kind of exit out, because once we exit out, the mission pretty much ends, and if you are paying attention, we still have a couple of secrets and collectibles to grab. I don't have too many tips for the combat here. If you are struggling, I'd probably recommend at this point just to lower the game difficulty. The mechanics here are pretty basic, and if you're struggling, you might just not have some fun later. You can kind of tweak that difficulty as you play. You know, this is also some gameplay from pretty early on in my Doom journey, so you can expect hopefully some better gameplay later. Once you take out that fourth portal, it will open up your exit door, but you're not going to want to go through that exit door as it ends the mission. From where we closed that fourth portal, go ahead and go straight through where it was. You'll find a secret path to the right of it, a clamberable wall that will lead you into the kind of top of this little arena. And here you'll find a Codex page, which does return as a collectible type. If you want to open up your dossier, you can read more about the Doomslayer. I'm not much of a background lore collectible kind of guy, but I know a lot of people do love it. Now, before you leave this kind of more open area through that door on my left, make sure that we go to the secret area now that we have the secret key, which is located just right in the middle as we kind of entered the area. And open up that door with the secret key. Go inside to get your secret and our 3rd out of 3 life sigils. I don't think I ever actually burned through any life sigils as we play. So you'll see 3 out of 3 in the top right corner there, I think, for the next many, many hours. And now we can kind of proceed. There is one more collectible, one more secret to grab, and don't worry, we will grab it. But for now, we will follow our main objective. As we enter into the next area, take care of all of the enemies in order to progress and open up the exit. Once the combat section is done, usually I would just advise you to kind of run around the area, refill your health and your armor and your ammo. That's something I won't do too often in the gameplay just to save time, but that is something you can definitely do if you want. As you exit the arena, make sure you clamber up a wall that's a little bit hidden on your right-hand side, and at the end of that pathway, you'll find your final secret and your final codex. So we now have all 2 toys, all 2 codex lore pages. We also have a weapon skin, and I believe a bunch of secrets also resulted in us having a life sigil. You will see this icon sometimes, which signifies the end of a chapter. Very useful icon as it allows us to kind of double check collectibles before we wrap things up and end the mission. That's going to be a lot more helpful in the open world missions that happen from like mission 5, 6, and on. At the end here, you will kind of jump up on a large cannon. Shooting that cannon with your right trigger will fill a percentage bar in the bottom of your screen, and then you can use the left trigger to basically fire a huge firebolt. And you will want to use this firebolt on the huge kind of Titan-style enemy in the background. Just keep firing your turret in order to fill up that percentage and keep striking that huge demon. I did miss a shot, which obviously isn't ideal, but this is kind of a little bit scripted, a little bit on rails, and I believe you are building percentage even if you aren't hitting anything with your bullets, so just keep doing that. I don't think these sections are much harder on the harder difficulties, but either way, as soon as you take this out, you will get a cutscene to start, and as soon as that cutscene starts, the mission should end here in just a second. Now, as the mission ends, you will get a mission summary letting you know what percentage of things you found. So make sure it's at 100% and it matches mine at the end of every mission. You will get a summary of the types of collectibles you grab. Much later on in the game, there's like hundreds of pieces of gold you'll need to grab. So it's very easy to miss like one or two things if you're not careful, and they won't all show up on your auto map as I mentioned. But for now, that brings us to the end of mission 1. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to drop a like, share the video with a friend. Special thanks to everyone on Patreon for supporting the show. Peace.